Hey everybody, George Williams Sr. here. Fish tank cleaning day. And I wanted to show you some tips on cleaning your FX-6. When you do this, you never want to get all the stuff completely out of your thing. You never want to sterilize your filters and stuff. So, as you're cleaning these things, I'm going to get all the big heavy stuff off. And get all the hook out of it, all the junk out of it. But you want to get it opened up so all the pores are cleaned out of it and everything. And you're maintaining your fish tank. That way you keep all your ammonias and your nitrates and stuff down. But on top of that, you never want to get these things sterilized. You never want to clean them out to where they're just like brand new. You want to leave a little bit of something in it. See how the water is kind of brown still coming out of it? When you get it to where it's almost clear, squeeze out what I can, and that's good enough. You don't want to get all your essential bacteria washed away, because that's how your fish tank works. Where your filter system works. You're just knocking out all the stuff that's plugging it up, getting all the waste products out of it. But the filaments, the sponge itself, you don't want spotlessly clean. There will be a lot of people that argue about that. But the fact of the matter is, these canister filters only work to keep the essential bacteria in there digesting, not decomposing, but digesting all that fish fecal matter and food that gets sucked up in there. You never want to lose all that bacteria. You want to keep that bacteria in your filter. Get all the big particles out. Even your charcoal pads and your ammonia pads. They don't go bad with every cleaning. You get all the large material out of there. Get all the waste products out of there, and they still have a lot of absorbency in them. You could probably go a couple changes with these things if you want. It doesn't hurt to change them every time, but unless you've got some massive waste issues, you don't have to do that every time. And the other thing is, your ceramic beads in here, they don't need to be really cleaned out. You can rinse off all the large nasties, the moss, the fish poop, and you're just going to rinse them off like that. They got a little color on them, a little stain on them. That is okay. You can keep that on them, because that's all that bacterial growth and stuff on there. So when you reassemble everything, put it back the way you had it. Put your scrubbers and your sponges back in, and everything will be good. So, we did the top tier. This is the second tier. I'm going to do the bottom tier, and then we're going to put it all together. Hang on. So here we're getting the last of the bottom tier knocked out. Get that out of there. I'll fix that in a second. how you set these things up. There are various ways of doing it. Put your scrubbers in, whatever you want in. It's all about layering, literally. So, how the water flows in and everything. You can put your scrubbers in there. I always put more ceramic beads in different layers. There's an efficient way of doing things, and then there's other ways of doing things. Best to follow the factory suggestions, but I tend to do things a little bit differently in some spots just to get a little more usage out of it. And once you understand how it works, then you can adjust yours. But it's all basically the same principle. So, stack your layers on there, your different levels of scrubbing, polishing, different pads and stuff that do different jobs, where you want your porcelain beads and whatnot. And then you get it all stacked up and clipped together, and that'll go inside your filter case. Before you do that, you want to empty this out. And when you empty this out, sometimes you might find some baby fish in there. But this is the one thing that you want to clean out really good. Your intake tube, the fish like to move around gravel and stuff. They'll suck sand up and spit it into your intake. You really want to rinse this out really good. Make sure that's cleaned up really good. Once you get that cleaned out good, then you can set your filter sponges in there. Goes in. And there's no rhyme or reason, just as long as one port is in one side or the other. There's no left or right. Just got to get it in there. Now occasionally, when you clean out your top, it's got a O-ring in here. Every now and then, you want to put a little Vaseline on that O-ring or some kind of sealant that's fish friendly. I use Vaseline, a small amount of Vaseline to bead on there and rub it on. And that keeps the O-ring fresh and keeps it from falling out when you're putting it together. And once you got your filter together, you got to fill it up. I just stick it right in the middle here and fill this thing up as full as I can get it. Alright, the water level's right about here right now. It's coming up. I'm going to bring it almost all the way to the top. It's literally about a half an inch from the top, and the reason I don't fill it all the way up is because when I put this on, and I fill it all the way up, it'll squirt me in the face when I press it down. Alright. So when you tighten it down, it's kind of like putting on a tire. I'm going to go to opposite sides. Tighten it down finger snug. Remember, this is plastic, so you're not going to reef on it and crank it down. Just going to go finger snug. Get that seal. Work your way around on opposite sides. Get that sealed. If your O-ring's good, in the right spot, and it didn't slip, then it should all be good. It won't leak. Alright, wipe off the majority of the water because you can take it back in the house before you put it in your fish stand and hook it all up. Make sure this is all dry all the way around. That way you can tell if it's leaking, or if you have one of those filter stands, aquarium stands that are made out of particle board. You don't want to take in any extra wet water and get everything wet. So we'll go take it inside and install it. Alright, back in the house. There's these little clips on top here. And normally they're not really used for anything. But when I'm carrying this in and out, I like to clip my power cord onto it, basically to prevent me from stepping on it while I'm carrying this heavy thing around. Alright, and I like to put a paper towel on the bottom. That way if there's any leakage, it shows up right away, and I know how to deal with that. Take care of business. Alright, these things are heavy because they got water in them. Get that in there. Just like that. And then we'll push the intake on there, like that, and reach around back here on the export, and we'll click that in. Now before you plug it in, you want to open these valves. And get that open. Now, take this off of these clamps that clip on top, and you can hear it gurgling. That's the airspace inside going out. And we'll plug her in. And once she plugs in, she'll automatically turn on. And what will happen, let me grab this so you see. What will happen is she'll start to purge herself from air bubbles. So grab this over here, get that up there. Alright, you saw that big blurp of bubbles, and she's spitting up some material because there's probably some stuff that was in the tubing still. And it'll run for about a minute, and then it'll shut itself off. And what it's doing, the FX-6, it'll shut itself off for about 2 minutes, and it's letting the water backfill into it, into the container, and any more air that's trapped in there will percolate up into the exit pipe, and after 2 minutes it will restart itself and purge itself of all the airspace. So there you can see it's not blowing any water out. It's automatically turned itself off, and it'll turn itself off for about 2 minutes, and then it'll restart, and then it'll run. So the only thing left to do is I'm probably going to do a 50% water change on this and suck up some of the material that's on the gravel, and this tank will be good to go. Alright, for all you fish keepers, I did a water change on Crash over here. You can see his feeder fish in there. He's been developing. There's a big old yawn, big lungfish yawn. And I've had to throw most of his plants away because he just tears them up, even though they're plastic. He's ripped them all off their bases. He just tears them up. Anyway, time to finish this tank. We're going to do a water change, and it'll be all set. George Williams Sr., happy fish keeping, everybody. Talk to you later.